Let me go.
Barbados, Barbados.
We're gonna make it.
I know we can.
We're gonna make it.
Standing as one.
Yeah.
Let me come together. Auntie, uncle, sister, and brother. Say, help one another. Let me step on this. Say, what is the week?
Good night, St. George. Good night. My brother, Glenn Clark. And my sister now, Tony Moore. I want to thank you all and to give us a chance to come here tonight to talk with you. Because we have reached a point in this nation where we need to talk about a few things. And I want us to talk because we're hearing all kinds of noises. And Mr. Moore, Pastor Moore, I thank you for coming and placing context and reminding persons that you know your daughter better than anybody else. And this was not the first time that I asked her to run. But like you, she told me no many times before. And for those who want to use their mouths to spread scandal and slander, well, I have come here tonight to take you all on one by one by one by one. And I've done it because it seems to me that people have short memories in this country, and that there's a set of rules for one and a next set of rules for the other. But Tony, I know what it is to be a woman in this country. And I know what it is to have different rules applied to you than applied to other people. But it has never daunted me. And I know that it will not daunt you too. Because the nonsense that passes for public commentary, using language to distort and using language to try and intimidate people, will stop. And I want to remind you, Tony, that nobody don't throw rocks or stones in an empty breadfruit tree. So that from the time we announced you Wednesday night, I have never seen attacks come out like that so fast. Because it is inspired not just by pride, but by fear. And those who are afraid of what it means in terms of those who want to come together in defense of the working class people of this country, stand afraid then. Because I have come here to remind you of the facts, not the distortions that are completely being put on us. Because I am not going to let the people rewrite history in this country about the importance of labor to development and labor to prosperity in Barbados. I'm not going to do it. And I want you to put up on this screen, look at the first part. It's a summary of the edition of the Unionists recording the proceedings of the 30th annual conference, Tony, of the Barbados Workers' Union in August of 1971. It regretted the retirement of Comrade Sir MacDonald Blunt, and I bowed to him because he was a good constituent of St. Michael Northeast from Butler's Avenue, a comrade of Grantley Adams, and a stalwart in the Barbados Workers' Union, former president. But it went on that the conference was aware, read the second paragraph, of the need of the union to have its case championed in the House of Assembly, not by someone who would occasionally identify themselves with the cause of the worker, but by someone irrevocably committed to that cause. Tony Moore was not even born. I can't say she wasn't contemplated. Only Pastor Moore and Mrs. Moore could say that. But she wasn't born when the Barbados Workers' Union took this position. But I go further. The article went on to state that they nominated two, not one, but two people to run for the Democratic Labour Party. Evelyn Graves in St. Lucie and Frank Walcott in St. Michael West. I know because Frank Walcott beat my uncle, AMOR Mottleey, in that election. But I want you to go on because I want you to show the people here at Flat Rock the resolution. And all who would now want to come out and talk nonsense about the role of unions and politics in this country, read it. Whereas one of the objectives of the BWU is to further the lawful political objects affecting the interests of the members by representation in Parliament. And whereas the Democratic Labour Party has concerned itself with these aims, it goes down to say, be it resolved. And whereas the policies and philosophies of the Democratic Labour Party coincide with the policies and philosophies of the Barbados Workers' Union, be it resolved that this 30th Annual Delegates Conference at Unity House, Roebuck Street, on August 28, 1971, expresses its solidarity for the said Democratic Labour Party in the forthcoming election. So not only did they run two people from the union in the Dems in 1971, and both won, but they also said that they were supporting the election campaign of the Democratic Labour Party. And I can go on and you can read it, be it further resolved, that this conference records its pleasure in the decision of the Executive Committee of the Democratic Labour Party in nominating comrades Frank Walker and Evelyn Graves. Let me give you the facts. Tony Moore joined the Barbados Labour Party on Wednesday of this week. Her application went in on Tuesday. I proposed her. The Attorney General seconded her. The General Secretary and myself went and met with Senator Moore last week. Not this week that gone, the week in front. And that is when we approached her about running for us. And we said we need people to help us lift this heavy load. And we believe that the world is facing a perilous moment that can have disastrous consequences for workers. And that now is the time for all people interested in the interests of workers to band together and to come together and to defend what we have achieved over the last 80 years in this country. We took it to the Council of the Barbados Labour Party, and pursuant to Section 72H of our Constitution, we were able to abridge the rules to allow for her immediate membership of the party, because we were conscious that we were also not only going with the union, but we were getting a good woman. And over the course of this campaign, you will hear the measure of this woman. And Glenn, I know that you already know it. And to that extent, Glenn Clark and I stand united in telling you, the people of Flat Rock, and you, the people of St. George North, that if you want to do something, it's not only about electing a good woman to be your member of Parliament, but it's also electing a good woman to help stabilize the working people of this country, working with the Barbados Labour Party as the party for workers. And I go further, that we have come to tell you that it is imperative that we get people back to work in this country, because we are waging a war. It wasn't only Oinath who come to stop poor people from being poor, all of us. So don't let's get tied up. And I've also come to give people a voice, and that is why the slanderous and wicked attacks against Tony Moore as a woman in this country. Every one of you men got a mother. Some got sisters, some got daughters. You mean to tell me that your children, having been educated and having been brought up in this country as a woman, should be treated in this way?